Okay, so I'm gonna try my best to explain how I made Nøkken, which I am probably pronouncing wrong because I can't pronounce words. So this is the project file, and I only have 4 tracks, and then I have 2 send tracks. Let me turn that one on. Whoops. So pretty much what we've got going on here. I'll explain this first. So this is the white noise that you kind of hear pulsating in the left ear. So let me just turn all this on, and you'll see kind of how that sounds. So this is one of the background elements, but it adds a lot to the atmosphere. And pretty much all it is, I'll try to explain it as best I can here. Not really the best explainer. So what we've got going on here, we've got a vital preset that I have messed with quite a bit here. And I've got this weird growl sound here. And then I've added this with a random. So this is a harmonic series. It's pretty obvious, judging by the name, it goes up and down the harmonic series. So if I wanted to remove this here, if I want to adjust that, it literally just goes up the harmonic series. And then, yeah, there we go. And then on top of all of this, mixed with that, and then I have this filter which adds the more oral sound to it, the more guttural sound. I have white noise here, which is also pulsating with everything else. I have it the panning affected by a randomizer as well, and it kind of just goes all over the place. I have a compressor on here, a vital compressor, vital distortion, and then, you know, the filters. And then I also have this effect, which is Valhalla Frequency Echo. It is free. I actually use all free plugins. If they're not free plugins, then they're stock plugins. So Valhalla Frequency Echo is something that's really interesting, and yeah, I'll turn it on here so that you can kind of hear what it does to this sound. So here's without it, and then here's with it. It kind of fragments the sound in a weird way, and what it's supposed to do is shift the pitch of the delay. So I have the delay here set to around 3 milliseconds, the mix at 50%, and then I have the feedback automated so that it increases quite a bit here, and once it reaches about 65%, I would say, it starts feedbacking on its own, like a no input feedbacker, as you can hear here. Which is pretty important to the sound with all the strange feedbacking noises that are in this composition here. So with all of that, you can hear it really starts to take an interesting form as it goes on. And then you may have noticed by now, it is panned to the left, and that is because the actual send track that I have it ran into is panned to the right, and the input audio is inverted. So that helps with soundscaping here. So if I have these both on now, you will hear the reverb's in the right ear, and the droning effect itself is in the left ear. It makes it feel a lot wider and also a lot stranger, as you know, sounds don't really do this in real life. It adds a bit of mysteriousness to it. And yeah, that's why that's very important to the sound staging. Very important here. I also have this fade in at the beginning of the track, so when you first start the song, you don't hear it, and then it slowly comes in. The next part is the piano samples. So this is responsible for a lot of the rumbling and the water sound atmosphere. So I have this piano sample duplicated here. This is my own piano sample. I recorded this myself. So this one, the recording itself, the original recording, is about 10 minutes. I have it time stretched to about 4 times. So, actually exactly 4 times. And I have a warp on, and I have it set to repitch. So it pitches it down quite a bit. The original recording is not this pitch down, but this one is. So if you'll, this is what it sounds like pitched down. And then I have Valhalla frequency echo again here, which just adds that extra layer of strangeness to the sound here. And actually, is I have this set to feedback as well. So if we, it's a bit more of an intense feedback here. And as it goes on, it gets it makes the sound becomes really strange. As you can hear here, it kind of just becomes uncharacterizable. It doesn't sound like piano anymore. This effect is very strong. It's a very good effect to have. Very good for a free effect as well. And then I have this running through just a year average reverb send track here. So there's no fancy inversion going on. It just helps with the stereo image and really helps with that atmosphere. That's really all it does. It just gives some space to the mix here. And then the second piano sample here, it's the same recording. I have processed it a bit differently. So if you look here, it is time stretched by 4 again, but it is not, the warp set is not set to repitch, it is set to tones. I am using Ableton, by the way. And I have the grain size at 100, which is the largest grain size you can get with this particular warp mode. And let me turn all of these effects off here. I'll keep the compressor on. So you can hear it adds this weird stretched sound to it. It kind of adds like artifacting in a weird way, especially if you turn this really small, like really low number here. Sorry, I'm tripping over my words. I'm not a very good speaker. But if you have this set to 100, it adds this strange repetition. Which a lot of this is just based on otherworldliness. All these sounds are rather otherworldly, except for the wind chime, which we'll get to that in a second. And then here I also have Valhalla frequency echo. This is a very good effect. I highly suggest. But I have the feedback set to 0 here, so there's no point where it starts to become like a no input mixer type thing. So if I have this just playing, you'll see here. Let me turn off the send track too. So it's just like a really time stretched piano sample. And then I add Valhalla frequency. And once again, it just adds that otherworldliness to it that you can't really get with many plugins. And then if I also have a Ableton stock grain delay here, which does some very interesting things to the sound. Actually, this is a preset as well. So if you click down here, you'll see they have awareness. I have changed it slightly. It is not the same. I have the spray set to a little lower. I have random pitch turned to 161, whereas in the original preset it is at 0. And the rest of it is pretty much the same. So if you listen to it, this is what adds like the strange watery texture here. This really carries this particular texture. So if I play it, so definitely, once again, very interesting texturally. And then I have this going into the same scent track as the other piano sample, so let me turn that on. It just, once again, adds space to the mix. Definitely very interesting here. And then finally, we have the wind chime, which is probably one of the more simple ones here. So all it is, let me just turn off all the effects for this one, as I've been doing with the other ones, just to kind of show you. So this is another time stretch sample here. This time I have it set to beats. Why is it not playing? Oh, okay, I have it fade in here. I didn't realize I had it set that way. So I have it fade in for pretty much the entire track until the very end when it reaches like 0 dB. And so if you listen to it here, I have it stretched out, and I have it set to warp beats, preserve transients, and it is set to, what's this called? Loop back and forth. That's pretty much it for that one. And then we get the processing, which I again have this one set to the scent track with the reverb and the phase invert. So once again, just adds a very strange spaciousness to it that you wouldn't really, it's not realistic. Kind of just adds to that very strange sensation that I was going for here. This is an effect that I don't have on any of the other tracks. It is called delay. I have it set to reverse chaos, which this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different modes. Normal mode, which it just acts like a regular delay. Reverse forward, which reverses it and then it unreverses it, so it at least does some pretty interesting sounds here. Pure reverse, which is pretty much just a reverse delay. Chaos, which actually pitch shifts the sample, pitch shifts the delay around, and then reverse chaos, which is that but reversed. I have the spread set to -10. I have the feedback almost as high as it can go without it being at 100. I have tape turned up to max, which on this particular plugin here, tape just adds flutter to it. And then I have different, so this is diffusion and diffusion size. I have diffusion size turned up to max, and for diffusion amount, I have it just turned up a little bit. This is kind of like if you have heard of Valhalla Supermassive, where it acts as a delay, but then you can turn warp up. This is pretty much delay's version of warp. And then I have this set to dotted sync mode. I have the actual delay length itself set to 1, so that it's as slow as it can get. And I actually have the tempo set to 30 BPM, so it's a really, really slow delay. And I have ping pong turned on. That mixed with this red, that makes it pretty wide. So I have that turned on, and if we just listen to this real quick here. It really just adds a bit more to the ambience, adds some sort of randomness to an extent. And then I of course have Valhalla Frequency Echo, which is on all of the tracks, as I said before, other than the scent tracks. So you turn that on, and once again, it's just adding that really alien ambience here that you can't really get from anything else. So that's it. That's the entire track. I also have the master track where I've just added a simple EQ. I'm not even using this for anything. I just have it here to kind of like analyze the frequencies here. It's more of just for me. It's not for the song. And then I have a limiter so that it doesn't clip the mix. I am not against clipping the master, but when it comes to ambience, you really it's definitely something that you should be careful playing around with. Yeah, that's pretty much the entire song. That's how I made Nøkken. Thank you.